here a few things that you need to do to make sure that you do not lose your rural land or your rural property to either your debtors, to SARS, or to your spouse when you are going through a divorce or insolvency. Okay, so these are the ways to protect your land, to protect your property in the rural areas, because land in the rural areas is not exempt from life happening. Okay, so here are ways to make sure to ensure that you protect your land in the rural areas. Okay, the first thing that you need to do, this is in no particular order. Okay, the first thing that I would make sure that I do is that I put my land or my property in the correct structure. Okay, so there are three different kinds of structures. It's your personal name, it is in a company, or in a trust. So depending on your succession plan, depending on your tax goals and everything, you need to decide which structure is best for your asset. Okay, the second thing I would consider is getting married out of community of property. So your marriage regime plays a very important role in your assets. Okay, so when you go through a divorce, if you are married in community of property, you will have to share that asset, you have to share that rural land or that rural property. Okay, the third thing I would do is to get a proper and updated will. So in a will, you write who gets what in a case where you pass away. Okay. The fourth thing that I would not do, I would not sign personal surety. I would not sign personal surety or guarantees on the land or the debt or the property. I would not sign surety, because should anything happen, then they can your land or your property can be exposed when you can't pay off a debt somewhere. Okay, another important thing that you need to avoid is to be sure that you do not make family promises where you say, it's usually verbal, where you say, no, the property belongs to the last born of the family, but there is no written agreement, no written contracts to justify that. So it needs to be written down, it needs to be in a will, that who inherits the property should you pass away. Okay, another thing, I would not borrow against the land or borrow against the property, because if your property is valued at 1.5 million rands and you cannot service a debt of 500,000 rands, you are putting your property, your rural land or your rural property at risk of being repossessed. Okay, so you need to do away with that. Do not borrow against it. Okay, another important thing to do is to keep all records. So once you acquire the piece of land or the property, maybe you've converted it into a title deed, keep the permission to occupy, keep the processes that you went through to convert to a title deed, keep the receipts when you bought the property or the land, keep everything. Just store everything in a safe space and just make sure that you do not lose those things. You can store them electronically, they are safer there, but just make sure there is proof and there is records to support your ownership of the land or of the property in the rural areas. If there's anything that I left out, you can drop it in the comment section and we can discuss this further and we can empower each other. All right, yes, let's talk again on the next video.